I went to India, and I only got back a couple of weeks ago. Just the sun, the vitamin D, no stress.
Just connecting to the land. Just
The land, just again connecting to my religion. I really, really connected to my religion then after many, many years, because when Nim was diagnosed, right, let's pray, because we believe in God. Come on, God, you can get her out of this. And then when she was told she only has 6 weeks left to live, God, what are you doing this for?
Naturally, we question our faith.
Yeah.
It's hard.
What are you doing this for? You know, and so my belief in Sikhi has been like this.
What has your belief? Where, if anywhere, has your belief sort of sustained and maintained? What have you continuously believed in?
I don't think I've continuously believed. I didn't believe in myself. Didn't believe in my religion. My community, set of friends let me down, so I didn't believe in any of them. So I don't think there's anything that I continuously believed in.
And just listening to you, where you've just talked about reconnecting to the land, to home, do you think that the last 7 years, it's been a journey of really trying to find home again? Because in partnership, in a wife, you find a home, right?
Yeah.
And then when that home unexpectedly crumbles, you on this quest, on this journey to find out where you fit, where you belong.
Yeah.
And you're looking, you're seeking outside of yourself for ways to feel secure again, ways to feel, to understand the world again. And home is, I'm somebody that massively believes in, like, home is wherever your heart is.
Yeah.
But I know that from going through some of my own journey as well, coming home to yourself is like the most powerful thing when it comes to like really understanding what you actually need, not looking outside, right? Going in. And how have you been doing that? Like, how have you found ways to do that?
So it's taken me many, many years, many dips. So like you said, home is where you've got both of you there. And there was a point in December 2018, so 3 months after when Nim passed away, I remember it was a Friday night. The kids had all gone to their nannies, and I was just sat there and I was just trying to soak everything up. Maybe I'd be hungover from the night before, but I just started getting a lot of chest pains here, and it got so bad I had to call the paramedics. So they came out and they were trying to think what's happening. My chest felt so tight, and that's when they said, "Okay, what's happened?" I said, "Look, this is what's happened. Nim passed away." And so I can't pronounce her name properly. It's called Taksubo cardiomyopathy something. Basically, it's when your muscles and your tendons actually stretch around the heart. And there's a lot of heart problems within the family. My dad's had heart attacks, my daddy, my granddad, and so on. So it's actually passed down. But what that means is, when people say you die of a broken heart, that's what they mean, is that when it stretches. And that's what they did the ECG and everything, and they say that could be it. So that is when everything fell apart for me. That was a realization. But fast forward nearly 7 years, it's taken me so long to really find myself again. I've had to go through those downs, dark times, ups, like meeting Palm again, meeting Palm, and then the kids getting together, because that was an up.
Oh, maybe you did meet her again. Maybe your souls knew each other
You know
before.
what? The weird thing is that before she even read my story, before she even knew me, she had a dream about Nim. Yeah.
Wow.
So she had a dream. She didn't even know what Nim looked like.
What was that? Tell me about that.
It's just that Nim came to visit her in her dream. And I don't know if she said anything to her, but Palm remembers actually seeing her face. And then when she read my story, this was quite some time after, she goes, "I've seen this person before."
Powerful.
Yeah.
And the thing about that is, energy, presence, essence, all these things that we talk about all the time, or that we can't quite explain, but we feel. Like when you meet someone and you feel this connection,
that energy,
or and now when you don't feel that, you know kind of how to protect your energy from people. Yeah. But when your feelings are so, like you said, when you're heartbroken, when you're vulnerable, like it's so hard to even know what you're feeling. and to feel your feelings. And then if you don't feel it, how can you heal it, right? What are you doing to heal now? Like, I was really, really happy to hear that you have, I mean, therapy in South Asian communities, especially with men, is just so unheard of.
Yeah.
And I was really happy to hear that, almost 6 years later, or only recently is...
It's only
last year?
Last July.
Okay. So tell me about that.
I had a business mentor, which helped me with like the foundations, because I had to start over again. Wasn't mentally, wasn't in the right space. So he helped me build the foundations, and he said, "You know what? You need counselling and therapy." I said, "No, I don't." He goes, "You do." I was like, "I don't." He goes, "You haven't grieved." I said, "I'm fine. I'm good." You know. And then it was July last year. I was like, "Okay, I'm so lonely. I just don't want to be here anymore. Let me just try it." So I found someone. We had one session that didn't work. And
What did you expect? When you say it didn't work, what were you expecting?
For you know, when you find that synergy with someone, we didn't have that synergy.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it wasn't that it didn't work, it was that they didn't work.
Yeah, he didn't work. Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's one thing. It was a bloke. Okay. And the ironic thing is, I wanted...
You were like, where are the men at?
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then I was about to just leave the app. I thought, let me give it one more try. So I put my details in again, and they matched me with someone. She was about 15 years younger. I thought, okay. I was a bit skeptical. I thought, okay, what does she know about life, about, being a widow, 3 kids? But it really, really helped. It really, really helped me with my journey. It was just that release. So what I was yearning for with the lads going out, mixed grill drinking, that's not what I needed. It's what I needed was to just someone neutral, just to listen to me,
to be witnessed.
Yeah, that's exactly what I needed. Yeah,
that's what I wanted to say to you when you called me, or you got back in touch.
Yeah,
because I remember how you felt the first time we did an interview.
Yeah,
and all I'm doing is witnessing in my work, right?
Yeah.
I definitely lean more towards, I think, talking and the power of storytelling is such a healer. But what I try and do is just witness people in whatever their experience is. Yeah. And even as a coach now, like I've moved into coaching because it is exactly the same thing. Like as a journalist or as a filmmaker, that's the stories we tell the world. Mm-hmm. And then I was like, oh, but this is more about the stories we tell ourselves. Yeah. And I think you got so much from that. And I felt really heartened by that because I was like, oh, I really remember feeling he just needed to be witnessed. Yeah. Right. And so often counseling or therapy, it's having somebody just witness you and hold space for you and allow you to feel that,
And no judgment.
And without the judgment or without feeling like, oh, if I say this, I'm going to burden them with my emotions. Yeah.
So it was great, and she really, really helped me through. And she could tell the days I was down. But then, and afterwards, she's like, how are you feeling? I'm like, I feel all right, I feel good. Going into a session down, but coming out, really, really relieved and happy.
And it's interesting that you mentioned that you had like a business coach or a business mentor, right? Because so many people think professional development isn't linked to personal development, but it's so important that you actually know yourself in order to thrive in business and sort of unblock from the things that we might be holding that are stopping us from being authentic, because being your authentic self is what's made your business thrive.
So I had a business coach, and I've been wanting to lose weight for years. I remember saying to him, I said, just wait till I get a 6-pack, man. Just you wait, And it hasn't happened. It really hasn't happened. So I signed up with a PT, and that was good. Mentally, again, we used to check in every single day. That was really, really good. But it got to a point where I was like, okay, you've helped me, because it went into business as well. So I had a business coach. He helped me. I left him, moved on to another one. He helped me. I thought, okay, I can deal with this myself. And that's when Lydia, the therapist, came into it. And she helped, and we departed ways 2 weeks ago, and she was happy. She's like, I'm really, really happy that you got this far.
How did you know it was time to stop therapy?
Since come back from India.
Okay.
Yeah, that was a proper reset. I literally just opened my eyes. I thought I've been wandering around aimlessly for 41 years, and now I can see what I need, and it is my faith. It is waking up doing the BART in the morning, and I'm just starting right from the beginning. So I am listening to, I'm watching a lot of podcasts on YouTube, basics of Sikhi, Nanak, and they're really, really, really help me because I drive a lot. I just have it playing in the back.
And it's a meditation. It's,
Yeah.
it's a form of meditation. And if you're not somebody that has a faith or even practices Sikhi as much, but I think the principles of that, sitting with yourself, going in, meditating, breathing,
Yeah.
like I start my day like that too, but
Yeah.
in a different way.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
So
like,
we all do it, and
yeah.
I used to be a personal development junkie.
I've seen all
And
your books in your office. I know.
so anything like that, any podcasts, audiobooks, I used to watch it. But now I'm like, it doesn't do anything for me because it's the same message over and over again. And this is when Sikhi comes into it. So I'm starting right at the beginning and I'm slowly working my way through. And I may not, I'll probably never get to the end because there's so much information. And I remember seeing this client based in Wolverhampton about 5-6 years ago. And his business and his life, he's worth around about 35 million. And I said, what do you put your success down to? And he pointed a picture of like the 10 gurus on the wall. He goes, it's my faith, my religion, our Guru Granth Sahib. Everything is in there, all the answers in there. I was like, that's really good. That's it. Didn't take anything away from it. All I said, that's really good. What I should have done was gone home, doing a bit of research. But again, I wasn't interested then.
It's the thing is, it's, the words are nothing without the ears to listen. And you can't hear the words until your ears are ready to hear them.
Yeah. And they're ready now. They are literally ready now.
And tell me then what you would say to any widowed fathers that are listening, that might be experiencing or feeling some of the things that you've been talking about today. Like, what would you say to them?
I'm not going to turn around and say, don't drink, don't do this, don't do that, because that's your journey. You have to go through that to get to the other end. And some people won't get through to the other end. But from my personal experiences, if you want to drink, but don't let it consume you. If you want to watch Netflix all day, watch Netflix. That's what I did. For months and months, I just watch Suits, watch Peaky Blinders. Peaky Blinders is what got me through that tough time. So do what you feel is right, but just remember, if you've got young children, they are looking up to you. So you've got to have that purpose and that why as well. And it was them. And it was just recently, a couple of days ago, I was talking to Palm. I said, do you know what? Why am I the way I am, considering what I've been through? Why am I not an alcoholic? Why am I not drinking all the time? Why am I not dead? Because what I've been through, most South Asian men, and I mean most South Asian men, would not be able to cope. And
Why do you think that is?
I really, can't cope? Or?
Yeah, why do you think that they don't cope?
I think it's the pressure of being a both mum and dad. Mm-hmm. I think I've always been a hands-on dad, and that helped. Mental resilience, mental toughness, and work in the funeral industry because I knew exactly what happens when somebody passes away. All these things are small, but they add up. And that's what's really, really helped me. But ultimately, it's the children. Mm-hmm. They'll be orphans if I'm not here anymore.
And this might be a bit of a controversial question, but did you value yourself as a man before you valued yourself as a husband and a father?
Did I value myself as a man before I valued myself as a husband and a father? Good question. I've never ever thought about that. No. What? Because how do I answer that? It's a good question. You've got me there. Because
it's more about, did you know yourself before? Because often we don't, right? We become husbands or wives, mothers, and fathers before really getting to know ourselves, and then or knowing what our value is away from the identities that we form.
I knew my role as a dad. I knew my role as a husband to him.
I know, but before that,
But,
as a man, just as you, just
but
as Raj.
I think so, because in the last few years, I didn't know what my role was. So then, if I look back, I think, yeah, I knew what my role was. Is to provide for the family.
I know you know
Yeah.
your role, but did
Yeah.
you value yourself?
I think I did, yeah. But back then I did. But right now, or in the last 5-6 years, no. Especially in the last 2 years, absolutely not. I hated myself. I would look at myself in the mirror and I'd swear, I think, you're fucking nothing. Why are you like this? You were never like this before. You don't deserve to be here. It's all that negativity. I'd really lay into myself. And there's only recently I thought, hang on, if that was somebody on the street saying that to you, you wouldn't stand for that shit.
Exactly.
So why are you letting yourself say it?
Or if you heard anyone else speaking to themselves like that,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah,
that inner critic is so loud
Yeah.
and it permeates so many thoughts.
Yeah.
And that's because, you know, if we haven't really done the work to really understand, well, who am I away from all the things that I do for other people?
Yeah. I was comparing myself after Nimrod passed away, such a strong community character, get through anything.
So then when the community let you down, it must have been heartbreaking.
But even after that, I thought, hang on, I'm in this alone. I can get through this, and I did get through it. But it was just a point after COVID, boom, like that, it started to go downhill.
Well, because we can only get through it for so long.
Yeah, that's exactly. I'd burnt out. I ran out of steam. There's only so much I could give because I didn't put myself first, and it really, really showed, and I felt it. The hatred in the mirror. Who are you? You know, look at what you were like before. Now you're a weakling. You call yourself a man. You're not a man. You know, what does Palm think of you when she wakes up and she sees you? You know, you're down, you're on your knees, you've cried. Yeah. So,
That's loud. That's very highly critical.
Yeah. Trust me, I was. And I'm like, you're telling the kids to do this, putting routine systems, processes in place, but you're not even doing it yourself.
How did therapy then teach you how to like reframe that narrative?
So she asked me a question. How do you love yourself? And I was stumped. And it took me weeks and weeks and weeks. I even said to Palm, I said, Lady asked me a question. She said, how do you love yourself? How would you answer that? It was such a strong question. And I still struggle, you know, to answer
Yeah,
that.
because my next question was, how do you love yourself?
And then her question after that was, what do you do for fun? I was like, oh, man, I don't do anything for fun. I go to the gym.
Yeah,
know?
that's not fun.
Yeah. What else?
For some people, it's fun. It's not fun for me.
Yeah. But I literally don't do anything for fun. And so because I don't do anything for fun, it has an impact on the kids. The kids see serious dad all the time because I had to be serious when Nim passed away.
I think it's so funny that you say that because I've seen you around the kids today with the family. Like you're all joking. Like you're a joker around the family. In fact, it seems like you're a fun dad.
Now I am. Mm-hmm. And I used to be before Nim died. I used to be the life and soul. Didn't give a shit what anyone thought about me. That was a fun me. And I said to Palm quite a few times, I miss the old me. Mm-hmm. I really miss fun Raj, you know. I want him back, but time's different, responsibilities are different. I've got an extra 3 kids to take care of, you know. So how do I get that person back? You know, and sometimes it'll be a case of having a few drinks, you know. Hey, fun dad's here. But the thing with us Punjabi men is we don't have that stop tap. When people say, I'm going to the pub for 2 drinks, how the hell do you just go to the pub for 2 drinks? With us Punjabis, what I say us, used to, is we'll go for one, Charlie, let's have another one. Right, let's get the bottle out. We are all or nothing. You know, that's the mentality. So I would start off as fun dad after a couple of drinks. I was like, John, get their deliveries, order more drinks, let's order a bottle now. And they get to the point like, oh, it's not fun anymore. The kids used to avoid me in the morning, or Palm would give me the cold shoulder. And I was like, shit, man, I fucked up here. But it wasn't a weekly thing. It wasn't a monthly thing. It was when the stress would build up. I thought, I need a drink, man. Yeah, that's when I think, no, stop it. Just forget it.
But so then at the same time, though, I've just looked around and you've got like ultra marathon medals.
Yeah.
And you're clearly kind of, you found ways to get into fitness. You found ways to enjoy. I don't know if that's the mental toughness side of you. Because again, that's intense. Tell me a bit more about the ultra marathons. I think they're probably really good for your mental health. But I mean, surely you can't enjoy that. That can't be fun.
When you cross the finish line.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's the fun part.
The training too, as you can see, I've got a runner's physique, so I like to have something to aim for.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, okay, right, you got to eat clean, you got a gym, go running.
So having like a goal.
You've got to have a goal.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you're going to be floating through life aimlessly. So this is why you've got to have these goals and targets. So in 2023, a friend of mine, Harps, he's a runner. He's an ultra marathons, and just out of conversation, he said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to Peak District, and I'm going to do an ultra marathon, 100k." I was like, "What, 100k? I don't even think I've done that in my lifetime."
Mm-hmm.
So he goes, "I'm doing 50 on the Saturday, 50 on the Sunday." I was like, "Okay." And then he said, "Why don't you do the 50k?" I was like, all right, sod it.
What is that in miles?
34 miles.
Quick maths. That's
34 miles.
That's more than a marathon, right?
Yeah, marathon's 26 and a half. So,
wow,
yeah.
okay. And you'd never done a marathon before?
I never did a half marathon.
Had you done a 5k?
Yes.
Okay, there's hope for me.
Yeah, but I gave myself, I had 3 months to train for it.
Okay, so what was it that really motivated you? And what was it about that first run that made you feel like, God, I can really do this?
So one, he set myself a challenge. He set me a challenge. He goes, why don't you do it? So I saw that as, you can't do it. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do it. I'm going to show you. So that got me going. And then training up to, I didn't really train. People advised me to say, don't do it. For this business coach that I had, we were out in Lisbon. And all the other business owners said, mate, you're not ready for it. Don't do it. You're going to injure yourself. There's no shame in backing out and deferring it. All I heard was, fuck you can't do it. And I'm like, I'm going to show you. And then when I crossed the finish line, I got my camera out, took a little video. I said, hey, see this medal? This is for you.
So I'm still trying to figure out how you did that with less than 3 months training.
Yeah.
Were you like a little bit fitness wise? You must have had some good fitness at that point.
I'd done a few K here and there. Maybe 10K was the maximum.
Where do you get it from?
Because what I've been through, I thought if I can get through that with Nim dying, watching her take her last 3 breaths, bringing up the kids, taking all this shit from community, from friends, from other people. If I can deal with that, this is a piece of cake. There was never a time, there's never any doubt in my mind that I would not complete it. I thought, I'm going to do it within 13 hours. But I did it in less than 13 hours. September just gone, I did 100k. Again, people are like, you haven't trained for it, are you all right?
But how is your body after doing something like that? Surely it's
nails
recovery.
have come off, blisters. So the 52k, my first time, I did not plan. I had an extra 9 kg on my back, food, blankets, first aid kit, extra pair of trainers, copre, you name it, I had it, right? There was no need for it because you had rest stations along the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, learn from this. So I packed minimal for the 100k. Again, I thought, I want to do it within 24 hours. I did it in 22 hours, 57 minutes.
Oh.
And I was like, okay, I can do it. Again, there was no doubt in my mind that I would not be able to do it.
You set these challenges for yourself, and that's a way that you're, I guess, coping or strengthening your relationship to pushing your mind past what you might feel you want to do.
Yeah.
You know, and I think a lot of what you've talked about is like, it's very holistic in terms of the things that you're doing now. So faith, movement, nourishment, community connection, talking. How have you poured all of that into the process of writing your book?
It just shows you that you can do whatever you want to do, put your mind to it, and you're more capable of doing it. So if you say, oh, I've only got half a tank left, I can't run anymore, no, you've got a lot more. And I'll give you an example. So me and two of my brother-in-laws, we did a challenge, 250k across December. I set the challenge. I thought, I've got to finish first. I have to finish first, because it was my idea. And we would walk 10, 11k every day. And it got to the point where one of them only had, I think, about 15 miles left to go. I thought, knowing him, he's going to do it the next day. 11 o'clock at night, I went out and I literally went. And I did like 15, I think 15k it was, yeah. And when he woke up in the morning, he saw, what? He's finished. He's come first. It's just that accountability, that determination.
And probably a little bit of competitiveness.
Yeah, 100%.
Probably a bit of that too.
100%. Yeah. So Avani asked me when I was doing the 100k, why are you doing it, Daddy? I said, because I don't want to. So, what do you mean? I said, I don't want to do it.
I can imagine that was hard to understand, because I'd be like, what do you mean? Why do you don't do it then?
I don't want to do it. But I said, I want to push myself. I said, we all have this comfort zone. I said, we need to step outside, and that's how we grow. And I'm doing these runs in ultra marathons to show you guys that you can do the things that you don't want to do.
You can do the hard things. Yeah.
And it will help you in the future. And it's all helped me for the book, because I've been banging on about this book for 6 years, 5-6 years, and it hasn't happened. And there's a reason why. One, because I wrote it out of anger to start off with. Second time, I've got to about 25,000 words after that. And I thought, I'm still kind of like naming people in there, and they will probably get hurt if they read it. So I've rewritten it again.
And so I think all of this is really about, it sounds like you're like ode to letting people know that even when you think you can't do this, you can.
Yeah.
And was there any time when you were writing the book where you thought, oh God, I can't do this, I can't finish this book?
Yeah, plenty of time, especially when I lost to 10,000 words. And it took me a year after that. And I thought, no, come on, think about how many people are asking for this book. How many people will it help? Because I used to get flooded with DMs on Insta. Do you know what? My dad's been diagnosed with cancer, or my wife's passed away. I just come onto your page, and it lifts me, it gets me through.
But I think that's kind of the testament, isn't it, to like integrity, and just showing up in integrity and continuing to do something that you set out to do, no matter how many times, you know, life pushes you back, or how many obstacles, or how many times you have to start again. You know, I think it's a really powerful thing to be able to honor the divine timing of things as well, and just accept that it doesn't mean no, it's just not right now. Like that competitive nature I see in you. I'm also a very competitive person, but for a long time I was not in competition with anyone out there. I was in competition with myself. You know, it's we will stop ourselves more than anyone else will stop us, you know, from doing something, and that's that inner critic.
Yeah. It 100%.
That can do that.
I am the problem, but I'm also the solution as well.
Right.
Yeah. And I've realised that, you know, you've set yourself a goal. Only you can cross that finish line. Make lots of memories. And this is, again, what the message that I've always shared is: take lots of selfies, take lots of videos, because that is the one thing which is left.
And maybe record podcasts in your living room.
Record podcasts. That's
maybe
it.
do that too.
Yeah.
Your whole home has now been turned into a podcast studio. So
because that's all that's left. Because Viren's a perfect example. He doesn't remember him, but there's a few videos on YouTube, and there's photos that we've got.
I have one question. How do you think your kids will feel watching this back?
I think they'll be surprised, because they all they can remember is that Daddy went to work, goes to the gym, Daddy is fine. They never saw that dark time of me being on my knees, me crying, because I didn't want to show them.
Does it worry you? Does any part of you feel worried about how they might feel?
I'm not worried at all. Otherwise, I wouldn't have reached out.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, I would have not shared a few things. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, they need to know.
Only because people will be thinking that, how do you reconcile you needing to be okay? And in order being okay, you have to be able to share your truth, right?
Yep.
There's so much strength in that and so much power in that. And you want to protect the people that you care about, and I think there's ways you can hold your children through the truth and giving them the opportunity to learn about who you really are, right?
And that's the thing, because it took me a good few years to cry in front of the kids. I remember in the kitchen.
Your children just want to know you, right? They just want to know their dad. They just want to know who's in here. Yeah.
And when I cried, it was a sense of relief, especially for Naveen. She was like, oh, because I think in her head, like, Daddy hasn't showed any emotion about mummy, no nothing. Did he even care? But when she saw me cry and break down, she was like, man, Daddy feels pain too,
Humanizing you to your children. Yeah.
And I think, but last year I didn't want to show the kids being in a vulnerable position. Now that mentally I'm okay, they can watch it, they can talk to me about it. I won't hide, or I'm happy to share everything.
Well, again, I commend you on that, because it's not easy and not everyone could do it.
And it just shows them that it doesn't matter how down and out you are, just don't give up. Do not give up, because if you give up, that's it. It's over. But if you fall, land on your back, because if you land on your back, you can look up, you can get up.
Love that.